3 Similes. The Lord said, Suppose, Subhuti, that there were a most excellent hero, very vigorous, of high social position, handsome, attractive, and most fair to behold, of many virtues, in possession of all the finest virtues, of those virtues which spring from the very height of sovereignty, morality, learning, renunciation, and so on. He is judicious, able to express himself, to formulate his views clearly, to substantiate his claims, one who always knows the suitable time, place, and situation for everything. In archery he has gone as far as one can go. He is successful in warding off all manner of attack, most skilled in all arts, and foremost through his fine achievements in all crafts. He has a good memory, is intelligent, clever, steady, and prudent, versed in all the treatises, has many friends, is wealthy, strong of body, with large limbs, with all his faculties complete, generous to all, dear and pleasant to many. Any work he might undertake he manages to complete. He speaks methodically, shares his great riches with the many, honors what should be honored, reveres what should be revered, worships what should be worshipped. Would such a person, Subhuti, feel ever-increasing joy and zest? Subhuti said, He would, Lord. The Lord said, Now suppose, further, that this person, so greatly accomplished, should have taken his family with him on a journey, his mother and father, his sons and daughters. By some circumstances they find themselves in a great wild forest. The foolish ones among them would feel fright, terror, and hair-raising fear. He, however, would fearlessly say to his family, Do not be afraid. I shall soon take you safely and securely out of this terrible and frightening forest. I shall soon set you free. If then more and more hostile and inimical forces should rise up against him in that forest, would this heroic man decide to abandon his family and to take himself alone out of that terrible and frightening forest, he who is not one to draw back, who is endowed with all the force of firmness and vigor, who is wise, exceedingly tender and compassionate, courageous, and a master of many resources? Subhuti said, No, O Lord, for that person who does not abandon his family has at his disposal powerful resources, both within and without. On his side, forces will arise in that wild forest which are quite a match for the hostile and inimical forces, and they will stand up for him and protect him. Those enemies and adversaries of his who look for a weak spot, who seek for a weak spot, will not gain any hold over him. He is competent to deal with the situation, and is able, unhurt and uninjured, soon to take out of that forest both his family and himself, and securely and safely they will reach a village, city, or market town. The Lord said, Just so, Subhuti, is it with a bodhisattva who is full of pity and concern with the welfare of all beings, who dwells in friendliness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and impartiality, who has been taken hold of by skill in means and perfect wisdom, who has correctly turned over his wholesome roots, employing the kind of transformation which has the Buddha's sanction. Although he enters into the concentrations which are the doors to deliverance, that is, the concentrations on emptiness, the signless, and the wishless, he nevertheless just does not realize the reality limit, that is, neither on the level of a disciple nor on that of a Pratyeka Buddha. For he has at his disposal very strong and powerful helpers in perfect wisdom and skill in means. Since he has not abandoned all beings, he is thus able to win full enlightenment safely and securely. At the time when a bodhisattva has made all beings into an objective support for his thought of friendliness, and with the highest friendliness ties himself to them, at that time he rises above the factitiousness of the defilements and of Mara. He rises above the level of disciple and pratyeka Buddha, and he abides in that concentration on friendliness. But he is not one who has attained the extinction of the outflows. He achieves a complete conquest of emptiness, which, in his case, is endowed with the highest perfections. At that time, when a bodhisattva dwells in the concentration on emptiness, which is one door to freedom, at that time he does not dwell in the concentration on the signless, nor does he realize the concentration on the signless. It is just like a bird who, on its wings, courses in the air. It neither falls to the ground, nor does it stand anywhere on any support. It dwells in space, just in the air, without being either supported or settled therein. Just so a bodhisattva dwells in the dwelling of emptiness, achieves complete conquest over emptiness. Just so he dwells in the dwelling of the signless and wishless, and achieves complete conquest over the signless and wishless. But he does not fall into emptiness, or into the signless, or into the wishless, with his Buddha dharmas remaining incomplete. It is as with a master of archery, strong and well trained, perfectly trained in archery. His first would shoot one arrow upwards. He would then send after that another arrow, which would check the fall of the first. By a regular succession of arrows, he would not permit that first arrow to fall to the ground, and that arrow would be kept up in the air until he should decide that it should fall to the ground. In the same way, a bodhisattva who courses in perfect wisdom, and who is upheld by skill in means, does not realize that farthest reality limit until his wholesome roots are matured, well matured in full enlightenment. Only when his wholesome roots are matured, well matured in full enlightenment, only then does he realize that farthest reality limit. A bodhisattva who courses in perfect wisdom, who develops perfect wisdom, should therefore contemplate and meditate on the deep, true nature of those dharmas, but he should not realize it.